One of the things that you have to deal with as a doctor is know-it-all patients. And know-it-all patients, believe it or not, is not always a bad thing. There are certain websites on the internet where patients read about their afflictions and they actually do get the knowledge and they do understand the illness. So it saves you a lot of time from explaining it to them because they already know. And this is a good thing. Like, obviously, it's your body. So if you're suffering from something, you should get informed about your condition and then talk it with your doctor, of course. But more often than not, you also have like the type of patient that goes on a various forum or some shady website and then comes with some ideological baggage or some pseudoscience. And these are the most difficult patients to deal with, especially knowing that you got like 20 other patients waiting at your door wanting to come in and they're suffering, right? They're desperately wanting to see a doctor. And here you have a guy that you need to spend quite a lot of time to educate him and to explain him why the science is pseudo or why the ideology doesn't make sense. Now, I'm saying this because this post is going viral on Twitter. And there's a lot of people attacking it, and there's other people defending it. And I gotta say, I've never seen anything like this in the 6 years that I have worked in hospitals. Now, the reason I have never seen anything like this is because I'm in Romania. I'm in Eastern Europe, so you don't have people trying to push this type of ideology, which is completely nonsensical. But I guess in the West, it's completely different. So, as a doctor, you have to ask certain medical questions. Most of the time are uncomfortable, right? You gotta ask the patient if he does any drugs. You gotta ask the patient if he is a chronic drinker. And by the way, don't think about lying because we're going to see it at the blood works anyway. So, like these questions are usually asked, I guess, as a tradition when doctors didn't have blood works. But now it's also done in order to create a relationship with the patient because it shows if the patient is a compulsive liar or not. If the patient says he doesn't drink, but he has rhinophyma, which is the expression, the facial features a chronic drinker gets after many years of hitting the bottle, which is like a big, bright red nose. You get it in the medical textbooks as well. It shows. And then you do the blood works, and it also shows that he's a chronic drinker, and he tells you he never drinks, that he's some monk at a monastery, and he never touched liquor in his life. Then you kind of get like that patient is going to probably bullshit you a lot. So there's not really much benefit in talking to him that much, unless you're telling him the diagnosis. But like asking him further questions, kind of pointless. So that's why we ask these questions to see if what type of patient you are, like if you're willing to tell the truth, if you're honest, so that we can actually have a conversation. But also because every single question that we ask comes with certain medical baggage. Like doctors want efficiency, right? They don't want to spend time talking with you, asking you about the weather. We don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I mean, maybe in some situations you do want to make the patient feel uncomfortable. Like, let's say he's got hepatitis because of his heavy drinking, and you try to convince him, like, look, maybe you should stop hitting the bottle because you're going to get cirrhosis and then your wife is going to cry. Like, I suppose, like, there is that educational part that some doctors that actually care about the human being in front of them want to have. Because if the doctor doesn't going to tell you that, hey, you're hurting yourself, like, who is? Huh? So, like, this is debatable. I'm pretty sure, like, some people don't want to hear it from their doctor that you should stop smoking, that you should stop drinking, that heaven forbid you should lose some weight in a system where you have public health care and your weight is now the responsibility of every citizen that pays taxes. Because it's one thing if you're overweight in the United States, where, hey, it's between you, your insurance, and your hospital. And it's another thing if you're overweight in Europe, where, oh my God, taxpayer, right? Like in public healthcare, good thing, right? Socialism. The only issue, though, and this is what most Americans don't understand, here in Europe, because it's a public healthcare issue, we got taxes on sugar, we got taxes on alcohol, we got taxes on tobacco, right? To dissuade people from partaking into these harmful activities. And you get in exchange, I guess, a reduction, and in some cases, like the government We'll give subsidies for gyms. So if you want to go to a gym, it's cheaper now. But like every American that wants public health care, again, how would you feel if a beer bottle would cost over $10? Because that's how much it costs in Sweden. Okay, the price is artificially inflated by the government in order to dissuade people from being heavy drinkers. Would you like that in America? Right? Because that's what happens when you want a public healthcare system. You're not supposed to get drunk. You're not supposed to get liver damage. You're not supposed to get neurological diseases, right? You need to keep yourself healthy because the resources are finite. When you go to the hospital, other people lose their chance. The resources aren't infinite. Just because the taxpayer pays for it doesn't mean that, oh my God, like Jesus Christ is working in the ER and he can use his magic in order to conjure the Holy Spirit to heal your bioenergy. That's not how it works, poopsikins. Finite numbers of shit, right? That's why you need to save the NHS. Sorry, a little bit tired right now, having to deal with this nonsense. So the first thing is like, don't weigh me unless it's really medically necessary. If you really need my weight, please let me tell you why so that I can give you my informed consent. All right, listen, motherfucker. Your informed consent is the moment you walk through the hospital door, right? If you're not in, like if I would, like, look, I'm the type of assholic person that if I would have to deal with this shit, knowing that there's 20 other people waiting at the door, I would tell him, look, you either give me your informed consent now so I can do the standard medical procedure with you, or you go back home. Find a different doctor. I don't have time for this shit. It's not that I don't have time for this shit, because I'm being paid to sit there all the way to 4 p.m. Like, if it was up to me, we could sit there and play poker. But there's other people that have other problems that also require medicine. I can't just sit and explain really every little single detail. If I was in a private hospital, maybe I would have the luxury, all right? And usually you do explain every procedure. But when it comes to weighing someone, like, get the fuck out. You know, it's like, do I also need to explain to you why I'm asking you about your age and your name? And like, what I'm doing with the papers when I put them through the bureaucratic process? If you're into that and you want to waste that much time, find a different doctor. But anyway, right, so how the fuck can I give you medication if I don't know your weight? You moron! How can I give, like, you do realize that the medication you give to a child is different than the medication you give to an adult, which is different than the medication you give to an adult that is like 3 adults put together. Now, of course, not all the medication is like that, right? Sometimes you can wing it, depends on what you're giving. But like, for example, if I want to give prednisone to someone, it's 1 unit per kilogram. Do you want me to wing it? Do you want me to risk your health like that? I mean, I'm the one that would get malpractice if I do it, right? Unbelievable. Like, unfreaking believable. I literally, like, combo, like this stupidity is being learned, all right? Like, this is not something that people grow up with. You probably had an ideology inflict this suffering upon you. Jesus. And by the way, like, let's clear up some other misconception, okay? The body mass index is something that a lot of people have issue with, right? Because they say, oh no, because it's not accurate. Really, did you finish med school? Because everyone that talks about the body mass index doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. The body mass index is just a tool, all right? And you do it when you see the patient. It's a number which places you on a scale, which can be underweight, normal, overweight grade 1, grade 2, and morbidly obese. All right? Now, they will say that, okay, but, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is a muscular man, he's got, like, a lot of weight. So he would be obese. Aha, the body mass index isn't working. No, the body mass index works perfectly because you're supposed to see the patient. Yes, if I see Arnold Schwarzenegger walking in and he's like a muscular mass, I will ignore the body mass index regardless of what it says because I can see it. But if I see someone that is causing the water glass to vibrate as they're walking in, I'm like, okay, shit, this person might have some health issues. And by the way, like, the body mass index is also used in order to warn people about their diabetic condition. It's like, hey, look, this is kind of bad. All right, like, I looked at your blood works, I looked at your weight, not good. All right, we need to figure something out, because otherwise you're going to get diabetes. You don't want to get diabetes. It's bad. All right? So that's one example. Other examples, it can tell you how long till you get a heart attack. You know, like there's a lot of conditions and evaluations that require the doctor to know the weight. The doctor isn't going to measure you if it doesn't need to. But again, like, we measure all patients, because you can't really give treatment if you don't know how many kilograms they have. Like, when you take your cat to the doctor, right? When you take your cat to the vet, do you not have the vet asking you, like, what is the weight of the cat? Does it not weigh the cat? Do you think it does it to shame the animal? Like, do you think it does? And if your cat is morbidly obese, right? Is the vet not going to tell you, hey, come on, like, cut it down? Like, this is animal cruelty. In some cases, will not the vet tell you that? So why do you think that a human doctor is any different? By the way, like, I understand COVID, right? You need to wear masks. Perfect. Wear the masks. Save lives. Save the NHS. Obesity is a risk factor. Can we say that? Like, is it politically correct? Like, why do we have to pretend that the truth doesn't exist? Is this a good thing, though? Is this healthy to have, like, this fakeness in society? Most health conditions can be addressed without knowing my weight. Oh, thank you. Like, if you know so much about most health conditions, why did you go to a doctor? Why can't you just address it yourself? Why do you have to go to the hospital? Again, like, when you go to the hospital, other people are waiting in line. When you focus on my weight, I get stressed, and that's not healthy. Well, maybe this is something that you need to deal with your psychologist, all right? I'm an overweight person myself. Should I get up? You know what? Like, I'll get up. Look at this shit. Look at it. Look at this. Okay? Do you know what's the difference? I'm comfortable with it. I don't give a fuck. If I gave a fuck, I would have lost weight. And I did, by the way. And the reason I did is because when I climbed the stairs, I was gasping for breath. I thought I was dying. And I said, holy shit, if I keep this up, then maybe I will. So I decided to, but like, that's something that I chose, right? And it's something that if I can be comfortable with this shit, so can you. And if you can't find a psychologist, all right? Like, that's not your doctor's problem. Weighing me every time I come in for an appointment and talking about my weight as if it's a problem perpetuates weight stigma. Yeah, tell that to the COVID patients. You know, like, but not only that, like, the reason they weigh you every time you come in is because if you lost weight, then there's a different treatment that they can give you, right? They adjust your medication based on the kilograms that you have in your body. Oh, Dios mío. I pursue healthy behavior regardless of my wealth status. See, health at every... My fucking... Why don't you become a doctor, man? Like, why don't you open your own clinic? You know, like, maybe your medicine is going to revolutionize the entire health department. Like, maybe you're going to come up with some new medical standards that are actually better than what actual doctors teach. You know, like, maybe you can start your own Pfizer company or some shit. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you go to the hospital, stop trying to lecture the doctor. You know, I don't know, like, what job this person has. Right? Maybe he's an engineer. I don't think it would be nice if the person hiring him would lecture him how to do his job. It's a little bit infuriating, isn't it? I'm not telling you guys how to give super chats and be good viewers and like, comment, and subscribe, huh? I'm not telling you how to be a good viewer, because you know how to be a good viewer. See what I did there? Slick. Slick like a snake. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.